Today got the Carrera in the bike stand again, and we're going to have a look at the headset. Seems to jam a little bit ever since I changed the forks, and it I changed the bearing race on it, and I've got the original one here which I'm going to put back on, because we'll see in a bit the one that's in there has got a little split in it, and I think that's what's causing the steering to grab. So we're going to need a set of Allen keys to undo the top cap, to undo the top clamp, and also we've got to take the caliper off and the front wheel out. So guys, let's get into it. Right guys, first thing we need to do is get the front wheel out. So quite easy, just take an Allen key, and this has got a through axle, nice and tight. Undo the bolt, slide the axle out, front wheel's out, there we go. So that's the first thing, we'll put that to one side. Don't lose that, that's important. So I'm going to stick that back in there. Stick it in the fork so I know where it is. Right, the next job will be to disconnect the brake caliper. Same Allen key, same size fits. Not quite sure what size it is, but again, 2 bolts. Get them undone. There you go, that's the caliper free. You can put the bolts back in their place so then I don't lose them. And when it comes to putting the bike back together, you know where bits go. So that's released the caliper. Right, I'm going to move the camera while it's still recording. Let's adjust you a bit. Right, at the top of the stanchion now is this little clip, and what that does is that just holds this cable in place. So I'm going to release that as well. So you need a different sized Allen key. Okay, and we just need to undo this clip, but fully undo it. Oh, there we go, it's lucky the toolbox was underneath. That just releases that cable so it's out of the way, so the forks can drop out. Where did that clip go? There it is. Just going to pop that back in now. Again, so then we know where parts go. Right, now there's one more thing I noticed as well that I almost forgot. That camera's gone out of view. Right guys, another thing we need to disconnect is these shocks have got a lockout on them. So the easiest way to do that will be to release the lockout lever at the top rather than mess about taking the cable out. So we'll go ahead and undo that up here, and that I believe is hinged, so it'll come off the handlebars. No, it isn't. Yeah, I've got to take the hand grip off and then slide that off, so that then the forks will drop out. So let's go ahead and do that. So that wasn't going to work because it meant that I'd have to undo all the handlebars and everything else. So we've got a little screw that's in this hole that will release this cable. So I'm going to go ahead and get that undone and release it, and then we should be able to look at the headset and dropping the front forks out. Right, so we released the cable for the lockout. We've released the brake caliper, which I've hooked up there out the way. Got the top cap bolt, which that, when you tighten it down, it pulls the bars in and out the head tube. And we've also got the top clamp here. So what we're going to do first is release, no, we're going to release the top clamp first, which is quite easy. It shouldn't be too tight. Fully release that and take it right out. Quite a long bolt, that one. Right, we'll put that to one side. So in the top there, you've got a star nut. As you can see, that will stay in there because that's fixed in. Right. Now, you've got two bolts, two Allen key bolts here and one the other side. So you need to undo those. And at this point, it might be worth saying that as you undo those, your forks are going to drop out. So we're going to get a little strap or something just to put around those forks and around the frame, so when you undo this, it doesn't drop out. I mean, you can hold the forks with one hand and undo this, but then you've got to try and hold the handlebars and the forks at the same time, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So I'm going to get a little strap and we'll loop it through the forks and through the frame. Oh, there you go. As you can see, it's only a carry-in strap, but it goes down through the forks and up over the frame, just to hold the frame in place, to hold the forks in place. And then we can undo these bolts. I'm not worried too much about the forks dropping out. And there you go. That's released, it just dropped down through. So then it doesn't damage your forks. And your dropouts as well. So handlebars are free now, we can just let those hang. Take your spacers off, put those in the vehicle. Your top cover, a little pressure washer, get that out. A bit fiddly. So it's got a little split in the ring there. The camera's not going to focus on it. Oh, there we go. So what happens is that's got a taper on it, which pushes down into your bearing, and it closes it like that around your steer tube, so it grips it in place. Another important bit, don't want to lose that. And then you've got your bearings in the top, which bearings are fine. Right, let's put those back out the way. I've got nowhere to hang them. Right, hold your forks, and then we can undo that strap. which is annoying because I don't know how I've tied it. Now we'll see. There we go, straps released. Put that to one side. Now, your forks will just drop out then. Here we go. One set of forks out the bike. Now guys, what I think is causing the issue with it grabbing is we've got a gap in here. And to be honest, that doesn't fit on there tight at all. So it has got a split on it. And I think that's what's grabbing in the bearing and causing the issues. So I've got the original one. Crown race here, which will just slot on there. I've got to tap it down on, seat it in place, and hopefully that'll solve the issue and I can tighten the handlebars up. Right guys, by all means I wouldn't recommend doing this, but to get that race on there, use the flat edge and just tapped it down gradually all the way round. It got it pushed down on there. It seems to have seated fine. Being an old crown race, it pushed on there quite easily anyway. Like I say, I wouldn't recommend doing it. I'd rather have a round piece of tube and fit over there to knock it down evenly. But like I say, it went on quite easy. So let's get the forks back in the bike, see if we can fit them up. Right guys. It's going to sit down a little bit further, so it leaves a bit of a gap, but it feels smoother already. Just got to put this back together, got to put that split ring back in, put the cover on, put the spacers on. As you can see, I'm holding this all up in by hand. Right, handlebars back on, make sure we put them the right way up. Right, we've got quite a big gap there in the top, but that should be fine. Put the top cap in. Hopefully you can all see this because I've put the camera lower. Can't see me actually putting the top cap in, but right, that's got that held in place. Right, let's bring the camera up so you can see what I'm up to now. Well guys, I was just sat there and I thought I was filming and I wasn't. I've tightened down the top clamp, I've aligned the bars, and I've tightened up the top bracket as well. And to be honest, since changing that, it feels a lot smoother. You've got a little bit of a gap under the bottom cup, but I'm not too worried about that. But that steering feels as smooth as butter now. So I'm going to pick the bike up in the stand and we'll get on, get the caliper fitted, get the lockout fitted again, get the front wheel in, and we should be done with this. So guys, we're back up to height. Trip over the toolbox. Always make sure you leave yourself enough room. Right. Make sure you've got your cable routing right. Take these bolts back out. Route the cable round. It feels a bit tight. Think about your routing as well, guys. Some people they run the cable through the inside. And some people run the cable around the outside. You can run it around the outside. I'm sure that's where I had it before. Yeah, it just feels a little bit tight, but you can run it around the outside. All I'm doing, I'm going to fit the caliper in there loosely, so then when I put the front wheel in, we can align the caliper. I know I haven't clamped the cable yet. I don't think I'm going to put that cable in that clamp actually, because it feels quite tight. Yeah, it's pulling very tight. For some reason. I think what that might be is because the handlebars are slightly higher. Yeah, it's pulling against that brake cable, that gear change. That's bizarre, I've never had it do that before. I've routed the cables the right way. I'm sure of it. Yeah, I have. What I'm going to do, I'll put a cable tie on here. I'm just going to snip that off because I think it's pulling the cables too tight. That's better. That's what that was. That's quite a short bit of brake line, that is. A bit worried about that. I can still push it into that grip though, so we'll do that next. This little grip here that we undid earlier, just going to feed the cable through it. It is a bit tight, that cable, I'm a bit worried about that. Still not quite sure whether or not to route it on the inside. The only thing I'm concerned about is doing that is that the wheel will catch on the cable. There we go, done. Right guys, so why did I leave the brake caliper loose? Well, now I've got the front wheel in, I can align the front brake caliper. Which way to do this is we've got the disc in there, and at the moment that's just rubbing. You feel the resistance. So what you do, hold the front brake lever, and what it should do is when you tighten it down, it'll align that caliper with your front wheel. With your front disc brake. So right, that is rubbing a bit, so we can change that quite easily. Just slackening the bolts back enough so that then you can move the caliper around and get those brakes just aligned. Still a little bit, still rubbing very slightly. But you can hold it roughly in position. About the best I'm going to get it. and you can clamp it all down. So that's barely touching now. Tighten it all up. There we go. It's spinning nice and freely now. Works fine. Beautiful. So there you go, guys. That's how you get that headset changed over. It's only a quick video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to change the dropper seat post. I'm going to take that out. Put a standard seat post in it, more so the saddle can go lower. It'll be right down here, so I can get some jumps and that and pretty much use it as a jump bike, but it's going to be a cross-country jump bike, so it's going to be fun. Anyway guys, it's not worth doing another video on that. I'll just get that swapped over. There's plenty of videos on YouTube about that. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, hit that like and subscribe, and enjoy riding. Cheers guys, catch you soon.